So Brazil's Bolsonaro, okay, charged over alleged coup that included a plan to poison Lula. Okay.
Man, oh, wow.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a James Bond film.
So, prosecutor, again, this is AP News. Brazil's prosecutor general formally charged President Bolsonaro. Why don't they put the guy's name? They should put the guy's name. Bolsonaro with attempting a coup, alleging he agreed to a plan called Green and Yellow Dagger to poison President Luiz Lula da Silva and assassinate Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes. Bolsonaro's defense called the accusations dismaying and indignating, while his son, Senator Flavio Bolsonaro, dismissed the indictment as empty and politically motivated. The indictment, based on manuscripts, digital files, spreadsheets, and message exchanges, described a coordinated effort to overturn Bolsonaro's 2022 election loss by pressuring military leaders, drafting legal cover, and inciting riots. The Supreme Court will decide whether to proceed with a trial where Bolsonaro could face up to 20 years in prison, up to 38 years, if convicted of attempting a coup. So now, you hear this story. While I'm there, I want to learn about what the system's like. We're in Brasília. Brazil is the capital,
right?
But it was built by communists. The city looks like a communist city. Because they intentionally build a city in a very, like, everything looks the same. Like, Rob, if you can go to the buildings and just put images, everything, there's nothing fancy, sexy about the city, okay, when you go to it. We stayed at a hotel called the Royal Tulip, which Castro stayed at, which Chavez stayed at, which Maduro stayed at, which Xi was there just 2 months ago. We stayed at that hotel. And we went to the House, Congress, they walked us around Senate, they walked us around everywhere. We had a chance to see everything that was going on in Brazil. Interviews coming out on Monday. And while we're talking, here's what we learn about Brazil. Watch this. And why this applies to America. Americans, it's so important to realize this. Do you know, oh my God, like, do you know if Trump, his greatest accomplishment that he did on his first term, you know what it was? Flipping 3 seats.
That's right.
When he flipped 3 seats, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever. We were debating this, Brandon, a power, hand of God. You can call it whatever you want. Obama had 8 years. He flipped 1 seat. Trump had 4 years, flipped 3 seats, and one of the years was COVID here. And he flipped 3 seats.
You're talking about Supreme Court seats. Okay, gotcha.
Now here we have how many seats? 9. When he flipped at the end of his term, what was the number? Was it 6-3, Tom, or was it 5-4? At the end of his term.
Biden?
No, conservatives to liberals.
Yes.
No, I think it was 6-3.
I think it was 6-3,
Yes.
exactly. So he was at 6-3. The next term, if you guys remember this, what did they try to do to Trump?
Pack the cords.
Do you remember? No, Kamala Harris talked about pack the cords. But do you remember when Colorado was the first state to come out and say what? And you're like, Pat, this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
Off the ballot.
We want to remove him off the ballot. Then other states started coming in and saying what? Yeah, we're going to do it too. Yeah, we're going to do it too. Yeah, we're going to do it too. And then who said, pump the brakes? Not going to happen. Supreme Court Justice.
Yeah.
By the way, what would have happened if it was 6-3 the other way around? If it was 6-3 the other way around, Trump's not president today.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So let me explain to you. If it's 6-3 the other way around, Trump may be in jail today. His kids may be in jail today. Everybody may be in jail today. While I'm in Brazil, you ready for this? 2016, Trump wins election. They call Bolsonaro the Trump Brazil. He wins in 2018. They've both been married 3 times. They both have 3 kids from their first wife, 1 from the second, 1 from the third. Both of them, okay? Bolsonaro and Trump. Bolsonaro was in the military for 13 years as a captain. He went and became a Congress for 27 years, of which the last 4 years was with his son. Then he ran for president. Do you know how much money he had to run for president? $1 million when he ran against the left. Do you know in the Brazilian media, what they do there is anybody that runs, they decide how much time you get every day. Every morning and every night, they allot you time to go up and talk to the people. Globo is the biggest media. I think they got 39% of all the viewership of all the 9, but Globo's like their biggest one. Do you know his opponent, who was the leader, I think, the Workers' Party, a guy named Haddad. Okay, Rob, if you can pull up Haddad, tall, good-looking guy who's a full-on socialist. Haddad, no, not Haddad, Rob, Haddad, H-A-D-D-A-D. He almost spelled it like hybrid. Haddad, there you go. Brazilian Haddad, that's the guy. Okay, so this guy, Fernando Haddad, runs against Bolsonaro. Watch this. He gets every day to speak on TV, 12 minutes in the morning, 12 minutes at night. You know what they give to Bolsonaro every day? 7 seconds in the morning.
No.
What?
7
7
seconds.
seconds.
Seconds. seconds.
Hello.
And do you know they have 2 runoffs?
Wow.
First run and there's a runoff.
How do they justify that?
Exactly the point, but they say it. We're only giving Bolsonaro 7 seconds, and he has 1 million to campaign. He ends up beating this guy. Do you know by how many votes he beats Haddad? Rob, can you pull up by how many votes he beats Haddad?
Around 1.8 million?
No. By how many votes did Bolsonaro beat Haddad, okay? Who Haddad had the mainstream media. Haddad had everybody. He beats him on the first runoff by, I think, 15 million votes. First. He beats him by 15 million votes. Look at that.
Wow.
First one he beats by, that's the second one, Ron. That's the runoff. He beats him by 10.1 million. But on the first one, he beats by 15 million votes. So watch what happens. You ready for this? This is what I asked them on why they're going after him and why they can't. The Supreme Court in Brazil, you know how many seats it is? 11.
Okay.
You know how many's on the right? What do you think it is?
2.
2.
Wow.
2 out of 11 is on the right.
Jeez, forget
Everybody else against them. Senate, they have 81 senators. You know who's on the right? 22. House, they have 513 congressmen. You know how many's on the right? 130.
Oh, forget it.
That country who has been dealing with corruption forever is still controlled by these corrupt people like Alexandre de Moraes, who had to go back and bring Lula back out of jail. Lula, Operation Car Wash, who stole money, and he got a free apartment. That when he got the free apartment, this guy named Moro is asking him questions and saying, hey, you got this apartment. Yeah, I got this apartment. I don't even know what happened. So no, but they gave it to you as a gift. He's kind of questioning him, right? Eventually, his wife is under so much stress, she has an aneurysm, she dies 4 months later.
Shit.
When his wife dies, right after his wife dies, guess who he blames that accepted to receive the apartment? He blames his wife. He blames his dead wife. Media says, look at this guy, what you're doing. Wow. Alexandre de Moraes goes and says, no, you're not guilty. He was supposed to go to jail for 12 years. He brings Lula out. Lula beats Bolsonaro in 2022. Trump loses to, Biden. Biden and Lula are the same people. And then he's here today. The only difference today why he could potentially go to jail is because they only have 2 on Supreme Court. They only have 22 in Senate. They only have 130 in House. And it is... So when you're saying many political parties, they have 23 political parties, you have to make a deal with everybody or else you're not getting nothing done. That's
chaos,
Brazil for you.
Chaos.
Dude.
And everybody's got their hand out, living off the public trough. So they're not going to shrink it voluntarily.
Yes.
Oh, man. This is a really important point. You can say what you, yes, as they do this Doge, as they move fast, they're going to break things. Yes, they may not understand the nuances of government. Yes, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. At the end of the day, you want a country, what did George Washington say? Government should be treated like a necessary evil. The larger it grows, the more coercive it becomes. It passes taxes and it raises taxes and it passes laws. Those are coercive measures. So just know, and there's no accountability. So at the end of the day, look, every one of these agencies we talk about, let me give you an example. Every one of these agencies has an inspector general. They have somebody that's supposed to audit, that's supposed to look for fraud. And they do, but it's not good enough. What's going on? Biden's own accounting office, what did they find? 70 different government programs. Of those 70, they found, that's his department, they found 236 billion irregular or overpayments or fraud. Okay, 236 billion. That is, I believe, 1/4 of the defense's budget. Okay, so there is, and that's just Biden. So we're going to find that that's chicken feet compared to what they're going to find out.
Again, by the way, this thing, while we're there, before we go, they tell us, when we went with a team of 9, they said, you need an international lawyer. They don't want him to speak. They don't want him to talk about anything. He's not allowed to talk about anything. You know, he was the only president in the world that didn't get a COVID shot.
What?
He's the only president in the world. I mean, we can't count Tanzania and some of these smaller.
Yeah.
He's the only president in the world that refused to take the COVID shot.
I love him.
And he's very popular still in Brazil.
Popular. He can't even walk outside, guys. He can't go anywhere.
And so this is a form of a coup, isn't it?
What they're they are so worried because if this guy wins in Brazil, the way it works is if you are one term, you lose, you come back, and you can go 2 terms back to back in Brazil.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so you know what happened right
So
there.
is he not going to be allowed to run, or he is running?
As of today, he can't even run. So there's a guy named Nicolas Ferreira who is a rock star in Brazil. rock star. He makes a post on Instagram, it gets 1 million likes. It gets 2 million likes. Any post, go look him up right now. This guy right here, he is the future president of Brazil. He's 28 years old right now. Unfortunately, he cannot run till I think 2036 because of the way they have it set up.
Little young. 28 is a little young.
He is the most popular guy in all of Brazil. We were having dinner with him last night. Rob, last night?
Is he a conservative?
I think last night.
He's conservative?
Oh, is he a conservative? Yeah, he's a we were having dinner with him last night at this one Inferno. I don't know what the pizza place was, which was the pizza.
I was on your story. He was giving you a shout out in Portuguese.
The influence this guy has is like no other. They're doing a massive march on March 16 all over the country, and we're excited to see what happens over there. But anyways, the guy says, you guys need to be secure. So we had a what do you call it? A armored truck that we went everywhere with. We're being escorted. And we had the files, and eventually when we left, we didn't post anything until we got to the States here. But remember this name, folks, Americans. By the way, he's going to be on the podcast, I think, this Saturday or next Saturday, one of these, he's coming here. This guy will one day be the president of Brazil. He is loved, he's admired, he's bold, he just had a kid, he's got another one on the way, a big fan of this guy. Excited to see what he does here. So good luck to all of Brazil. The one thing, Brazil, you got God on your side.
Yep.
The one thing you got on your side. You cannot lose hope. You got to stay. Yesterday on the flight back, I'm watching Senna's documentary for the 100th time. By the way, Ayrton Senna, Tom, you want a fun fact? You know who shares a birthday with Ayrton Senna? Jair Bolsonaro. They're born on the same day. They both have a same birthday. I think it's March 21st or something like that. On the flight back, I'm flying back watching I watched Senna's documentary and Ford versus Ferrari again. I can watch this back to back.
Yeah.
And both stories end the same way, by the way, if you think about it. But I'm watching it, and it gets to the point, I'm in a freaking plane. I'm putting blankets over him. I'm like, nobody can see me right now while he dies. And you see women crying. The only hope that I'm like, people are going, would you like anything to drink?
He was your hero.
I named my daughter after him. I named my daughter after him.
Because he's in that painting of yours.
To me, Senna's I wouldn't say he's my hero. I think he's a guy I respect for how he lived his life.
Yeah, like
how
a monk,
he lived
right?
his
He was like
life.
a monk, wasn't he?
He was a lot of things, but one of the questions I asked Bolsonaro, because he's very good friends with Piqué, I said, hey man, you're born in Senna's birthday, but you're a fan of Piqué and you guys are friends, so how do you handle this? His answer is funny. And he gave me a coin at the end. You have to, this coin he's only given to 5 people. Rob, who were the 5 names he said about this coin?
Oh, Putin, Trump,
Orban,
Milei, Orban, and you.
And
PBD.
He gave these 5 coins.
That's cool.
And
So
this
sick.
coin, it's so interesting what it says on it. You have to see the translation. The first word is humo hivel, okay? Which means undieable. Okay, that's the word. It's really not a word, Rob.
Undieable.
Undieable.
I like that. It's a good name for a movie. Undieable.
The second one is imbrochavel. Okay, Rob, can you look this up? You see the word there? Undieable. Imbro, Imbrocchavel. I'm sure Brazilians are cracking up right now.
They're laughing.
Imbrochavel, the meaning of imbrochavel. Well, let me look this up because I think you're having a hard time with the spelling. People have to know what the last one is. What does imbrochavel mean in Portuguese? Okay.
Portuguese.
Imbrochavel means unflappable. Never losing potency. Like you always stay up. You're never limp. No, literally, this is the guy.
I love it.
That's exactly what it means. Like you don't need Viagra. You're always hard.
Brazilian for Cialis.
Rob, move that image off of it.
And do you know what the last one is?
Say flaccid proof, it said, right?
That's
there.
what it is. That's how funny this guy is.
Very
And then do
Brazilian.
you know what the last one is? The last one is in comivel. Rob, please look this up. The audience has to see this.
Incomivel.
In comivel. The Portuguese people who are watching this right now are cracking up. In I-N-C-O-V C-O-M-O-M-M, take the V out, I-V-E-L, definition, okay? Means in Portuguese, yeah, okay? Incomivel, well, I'll say it to you, it means unfuckable.
Inedible.
It says, it's specifically incomivel.
Undieable.
Yeah, undieable, unflappable,
Unfuckable.
That's this guy.
You can't fuck me. Now, let me ask you this. Did you feel from him, did he feel nervous and worried about?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
because he's got the world coming after
Yeah, let me tell you what he did. He did not hold back. While we're sitting there, my translator is because he has a translator telling him, which is his son, and another girl named Lily. Guy Paulo, I love this guy Paulo. We had a great time with him. But my translator is translating to me. There's a moment where I say to him, I've been walking the streets of Brazil and asking everybody. I have one question, because a country that can't find the next people to step up doesn't have heroes. I'm asking everybody who their heroes are everywhere. Everybody says we don't have heroes in Brazil. But almost everyone gave me 3 names. They said Pelé, they said Ayrton Senna, and they said Bolsonaro.
Wow.
And I said, why do your people love you so much? Let me tell you what happens. I just got the chills. Rob, did you go there right now, Rob? Let me tell you what happens. I ask him this question. Vinny, I can't wait for people to see this. Tears dropping on the table. He's a Trump guy. He's not a crier.
Damn.
Tears are dropping on the table.
He's a captain in the military.
He's a captain in the military. Tears are dropping on the table. Insane. And he's speaking to his people. My translator in the back, he's translating what he's saying, and he's crying Ezra's. He's crying.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Dude.
And he can't even see him. He's just hearing him. He's in tears crying. Rob doesn't even know what he's saying. Rob's crying.
Dude.
Rob is sitting in front of me. I'm looking at Rob. I'm like, holy. I'm telling you, this is, by the way, this thing, this is going to be, I can't wait for the world to see this interview. It's by far my top 10 favorite interviews I've ever done in my life. And I don't want to rank it. I have to see it myself again. And you know, the list of people. Yeah. I cannot wait for the world to see this, because I think Brazil desperately needs hope today. And the way they have it set up with Supreme Court, House, and Senate, they need God's help. God willing, Musk, Trump, others can help as well. I would love to go back to Brazil when there's an inauguration of him, and we go back.
I think you will.
I'd love to see.
I'm coming with you.
The PBD podcast gang, the folks that watch this podcast loyally, no matter where we go, they're there. It doesn't matter what part of the world we're in. You guys are phenomenal. Add this to your calendar. Go to vtwebinar.com and register for this. March 4th, we're making a massive, massive announcement about Connect, the circle economy. Massive announcement that I want to tell you exactly what it's going to work out and how all the PBD podcast community folks can, work with each other. You'll see this. You have to hear what we're doing here with the circles economy. It's going to be big. And at the same time, on that webinar, I'll also be announcing on how you could come join us this year at the Kentucky Derby. Finish line, 5th floor, the biggest suite in the entire place with 150,000 people watching the greatest 2 minutes in sports. Go to vtwebinar.com, register March 4th, 3 p.m. On that Zoom, we're launching circles. You're going to lose your mind when you hear what we're going to be doing with Connect here on that launch. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.